Hi everyone, it's Lauren and today I have a book haul video for you. So I'm going to be going through all of the books that I've recently acquired into my book collection. So I'm still really excited about them. Some I've been sent by publishers and some I have bought. I recently went on a bookshop crawl around London with Jean from Bookish Thoughts and I picked up some absolute beauties. So I'm going to start with some non-fiction today. And the first one I have to show you is Dead Girls by Alice Bolin. Now if you saw my most recent reading wrap-up video, which went up last Thursday, I think, you'll have seen that our latest feminist orchestra pick, Trainwreck by Sadie Doyle, was probably quite similar to this book. It's about the downfall of women and how we love to kind of watch that in society. I absolutely adored that book. I thought it was so interesting. And I think there is, from reading the blurb on this, some overlap with that book, but it's looking at this kind of obsession for like the downfall of women in a very slightly different way. So it says here we've got essays on Joan Didion and James Baldwin, to Twin Peaks, Britney Spears and Serial. Bolin illuminates our widespread obsession with women who are abused, killed and disenfranchised, and whose bodies, brackets dead or alive, are used as props to bolster a man's story. So this is obviously looking much less at a woman's own downfall because of her own actions and much more I guess looking at the abuse and violence towards women and our kind of obsession with that. So I am all over this. I absolutely adored Trainwreck. I've just finished reading Delusions of Gender and that was probably like one of my favourite books I've read all year, and now I'm going straight into Dead Girls, so I think you can see there's a bit of a theme with what I'm enjoying reading at the moment, but very excited to get to this. And on a similar-ish theme, we have Why Women Have Better Sex Under Socialism by Kirsten R. Godsey, and this just really made me laugh. I thought this is a really funny title and I really like the front cover. This is a collection of essays. I don't know how kind of misleading this title is necessarily, because it seems to be about women's place in society, and you know, I think it's looking at a lot of different things. Like some of the titles of these essays are Women Like Men but Cheaper, and Pantsuits Are Not Enough, on leadership, and so we've kind of like on work, on motherhood, leadership, sex and citizenship. So it's about a lot of different things. I love like discussions about gender, but I'm also really interested in politics and like kind of society and how it all blends together. So it'd be interesting hearing some arguments that kind of mould those two interests. Mould, merge, blend. And this is a proof copy, but this book is out on the 1st of November this year. I have one more proof in this book haul today, but it's a book that I am so excited about. Unfortunately, it's not out till March next year, but I just can't wait to read it. I'm not even like doing a reveal properly because I'm just loving it, and that's Gingerbread by Helen Oyeyemi. I really enjoy Helen Oyeyemi's work. It really kind of mixes magical realism and fairy tales, and it's so imaginative, a lot of the stuff she does. And this book sounds like no exception. It's about a young girl and her mother who are living in London, but there seems to be some rumblings, some rumours that they're from a different place, a more magical, faraway land. There's some odd things going on in their house, like some plants that can talk, it sounds like, and they enjoy making gingerbread for all of their friends. And we're following the daughter Perdita, who is looking for her mother's long lost friend, a woman called Gretel. So you can see kind of where the influences are in this book, obviously, but I'm really excited to see what she's doing with these kind of fairy tales and where she's going to go with it. And now the exciting books that I picked up on our bookshop crawl. I did do a video as Jean and I were walking around, so we did a kind of walk through London, hitting loads of different independent bookshops, so that will be up on my channel soon. But it was just a really nice day. It was raining, not a great day for filming really, but we hit lots of different bookshops. So what's the first one that I picked up? I think the first one I bought was probably this one, which I picked up in Gaze the Word. And this is Your Silence Will Not Protect You by Audrey Lord. This is a collection of all of her writings, poems, essays, and I think some transcripts of some interviews with her as well. I read the Penguin Modern Classics, like little mini short that came out of hers recently, which was The Master's Tools Will Never Dismantle the Master's House. She describes herself as a black lesbian mother warrior poet, so her writings are very much about homophobia and racism and sexism and how that all works within society, and she's got so many interesting things to say. Next we walked down to the London Review bookshop and I picked up the only book that I knew I was going to buy that day, although obviously I ended up buying a lot more, but that was Melmoth by Sarah Perry. Sarah Perry is the author of The Essex Serpent, which came out, I want to say last year, but it might actually have been the year before. I'm just completely lost my dates now, and I absolutely loved that book, like so much more than I thought I would. And this one sounds quite similar, not exactly historical fiction as the Essex Serpent was, but what it seems to do very similarly is look at kind of the myths and legends and magic of history and kind of allude to these odd, strange things that might be happening. And it's mixing that mystery with the historical fact, so you're kind of working out exactly what's happening. And it's about a young woman who's in Prague, I think, and reading some letters and notes about Melmoth, who is this historical character. And it says in the blurb, everyone that Melmoth seeks out must make a choice to live with what they've done or be led into the darkness. And really, I don't know too much about this plot, other than this has had so much praise, and considering how much I enjoyed The Essex Serpent, I'm just really excited to read more of her work. Moving on to some non-fiction now, I also picked up Betraying Big Brother by Lita Hong Fincher, which is about, it says, the feminist awakening in China. And basically I just looked at this cover, I just picked it up and bought it, so I haven't really flicked inside. I don't really know how it's written, how it's structured, but basically, I just really enjoyed another book by Lita Hong Fincher that I read recently called Leftover Women, which was about the situation in China for a lot of young women feeling under pressure to marry before they hit kind of 28, I think. And I really found that very interesting. So I'm just really happy to read more around that topic and read more from her perspective, because the way that she spoke to different people and the way she collated all the information I thought was really well done last time. And finally, I went completely rogue in Forbidden Planet and got some high fantasy mass market paperbacks because I was with Jean and she really convinced me. So the first one I picked up was these covers are just hilarious. It's The Alphabet of Thorn by Patricia A. McKillip. And Jean was telling me about this book a while ago because it's about someone who works in a magical library, which, let's be honest, does sound right up my street. And I do like trying out, dipping my toe in some different genres sometimes. And I think, to be fair, when I was younger, like kind of 14, 15, 16, I was like so into Lord of the Rings. I mean, I still am, let's be honest. And I was really into that kind of high fantasy thing. And you know, I think you need some self-indulgence if that's what you enjoy reading. It comes highly recommended, so I picked it up. And also, tell you what else I picked up, funnily enough, being with Jean, some Juliette Marillier. And to be honest, I didn't even look at the blurb before picking this book up. This is Dreamer's Pool, and it's the first in a series, which is why we kind of went for this book. It's about a healer, it's got a prince in it, it's got vengeance in it. You know what, I'm just happy to go along for the ride with this book. There were 2 copies of it on the shelf, so Jean and I have both got one, and we're going to have a little bit of a read along in November. I must say, I did read some Juliette Marillier when I was young as well, so I have read her before. I've not read this series, which is a Blackthorn and Grimm novel. So I guess that's the name of the series. But I do always think that these autumnal winter months do lend themselves really well to kind of fantasy novels. This time of year is when I do really enjoy rereading Lord of the Rings. It's when it's cold outside, you want to shut yourself in and just go somewhere else, just have some complete escapism into a completely different world. So I feel like November will be a good time to read this. So I'm going to try them out and I'll report back to you. So I would love to hear what you've thought of these books. If you've read any of them already, I mean, some of them are a little bit new, but if you have read any of them, I would love to hear your reviews, what you thought of them. Are there any of these that you're kind of interested in now? Which of these books would you read first if it was you? And I will see you in my next video. Bye!